Hi everyone, you're welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you are new to this channel, please do also subscribe to my channel if you have not done so, and don't forget to give this video a like. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make this A-line Ankara dress with Aso Oke design. So if this is what you're interested in, you might want to stay to the end of this video. So guys, let's get right into the video. So I'll be making use of these 5 yards of Ankara fabric, as you can see, and this Aso Oke, you need like 4 different long pieces of Aso Oke. That is what I made use of in this video. So we all know the normal length of Ankara fabric is about 44 to 45 inches. So we're not going to be making use of that length because it is too short. Remember, we're making a long A-line dress, so this is how we're going to open it up instead. So we're not going to be using that normal length part, so this is how we're going to fold it instead. Please pay close attention to what I'm doing in case you don't understand what I'm saying. So as you can see, the way I'm folding it, I folded it into 2 first, and then I folded it into 4 again. So we're going to be cutting the front and the back together. I hope we get how I folded it. Just pay close attention to what I'm doing. It's very easy. So my full length plus allowance, I'm making use of 61 inches. So I folded it using that 61 inches. So I'm just going to cut away that excess part. So the next thing we want to do is to mark our vertical measurement. So from the shoulder, I came down by 10 inches. That is my bust point. And then I came down by 16.5 inches. That is my waist point, my waistline. And then from that waistline, I came down by 9 inches. And that will be my hip line. So that's where we're going to be marking all our measurements. So I'm just going to extend the lines. So the next thing we want to do is to mark the shoulder measurement divided by 2. So we are going to mark that on the shoulder. So my own shoulder divided by 2, 8.5 inches. So I made use of 9 inches instead. I added half inch for ease because it's an A shape and I want it to be a bit free and not tight. So I also went in by 3 inches for the neck width, and I came down by 2.5 inches for the neck depth. So I'm just going to use my French curve to draw the neckline as you see me doing. So on the shoulder, I came down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. So I'm just going to use my ruler to connect the shoulder slope like so. So from the 1 inch I came down by on the shoulder, I marked my armhole depth. So I'm going to extend my armhole depth line with my ruler like so. So the next thing I'm going to do is to mark my bust measurements divided by 4 on the chest line as you see me doing. So we'll measure what we have on the armhole depth and mark the midpoint. So on that midpoint, I'm going to go in by half an inch. So I'm going to use my French curve to draw my armhole curve. So if you don't have a French curve, you can also use your free hands as well. So now we're going to input all our body measurements. On the chest line, I'm going to mark my bust measurement divided by 4, which I have done already. So I'm just going to add 3 inches allowance, 1.5 for sewing allowance and 1.5 for ease, because this is an A shape. It is a free A shape gown. So on the waistline, I'm going to mark my waist measurement divided by 4. I'm also going to add 1.5 inches for ease and 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. So on my hip line, I'm also going to mark my hip measurement divided by 4 and 1.5 inch for sewing allowance and 1.5 inch for ease. So I'm just going to connect all the points with my ruler. So from that hip point, we are going to connect a straight line to the extreme edge of the hem. So from that point, I'm going to draw a straight line to connect it. So if you can't use a ruler, you can also use your free hands. As you can see, I've switched to using free hands to draw it. So you want to make sure it is well aligned and very straight. So now we're going to go ahead and cut it out. So we have succeeded in cutting the front and the back pattern together. So now we're going to remove one of the pattern. One is serving as the back and one is serving as the front. So I'm going to take one that will serve as the front pattern, like so. So now we'll go ahead and create space in the middle of the front pattern. That is where the Aso Oke will be. So as you can see, the Aso Oke on fold, we have 3 inches on fold, as you can see. So now we're going to create that space on the front pattern. So from the shoulder, I'm going to come down by 6 inches. So from the midpoint of the middle, I'm going to mark 2 inches. As you can see me doing, I'm marking 2 inches inward. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect all the dots in a straight line, so it should be easy to cut. So you connect from that 6 inches of the neckline we came down by to the shoulder area, as you can see me doing. So now we're going to cut it out. Please pay close attention to how I'm cutting it. So we are finished drafting the back and the front pattern, and this is what it looks like. The next thing we're going to do is to draft the sleeve. So as you can see, this is the remaining fabric that I'm using for the sleeves. I'm cutting the 2 sleeves together, so I folded it into 2 first, and then I folded it again, that's into 4. So I'm cutting both at the same time. So I came down by about 3.5 inches. So on that 3.5 inches, I marked the 9 inches I used for my armhole depth, and then I added about 1.5 inch allowance. So from that point, I connected it upwards like you see me doing with my ruler. So the next thing we want to do is to mark everything we have there, and I marked the midpoint. So I drew my armhole curve. If you can't use your free hand, you can use the French curve. As you can see, this is how you place the French curve. Like this, you draw your curve, then you also place it like this. So this is just a bell sleeve that I'm drafting. So I came down by 7 inches. That's where I'll mark my arm circumference divided by 2. So I marked 5.75. So we're not making use of that measurement actually, it's just serving as a guide. So this is the Aso Oke that we'll be using for the hem of the sleeve. So I folded it into 4 as well, because we are cutting 2 sleeves together, remember. So I want the full length to be about 24 inches. The Ankara is about 19 inches. So definitely we'll be needing 5 inches of the Aso Oke. So I marked 5 inches length on the Aso Oke. As you can see, I marked it across, and then I'm going to cut out the excess part. Please make sure your Aso Oke is slightly longer, or let me say wider, than the Ankara, because it is a bell sleeve and the hem is going to be wider. So as you can see me doing using my free hands, I'm drawing my bell sleeve. So you can use any measurement for the wideness of the hem. It depends on how wide you want it to be. As you can see, I'm managing my remaining fabric, so I'm using the full length and the full wideness of this fabric and Aso Oke. So I'm going to cut it together. Be careful and mindful when you're cutting it, so that the fabric and the Aso Oke will not move, because they have to be equal. So I have succeeded in cutting 2 sleeves at once. So this video is getting long already. In my next video, I'm going to be showing you the full sewing process. Thank you so much for watching till the end. See you guys in my next one.